Hey everybody, what's up? Leonardo 2003 here, and this is going to be a special video on the lost episodes, seasons, and stories of the 2003 series. Before I start, follow me on Instagram at TMNT 2003-2017 for behind the scenes photos on my life and TMNT, and support me on Patreon. This video was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Avior26. If you want to choose what videos I do next, check out my Patreon, link in the description. Also, a huge shout out to the Skeleton Man 939 for some of the background music I'll be using in my videos. He took the time to edit out all of the sound effects out of the songs from the 2003 series, as an official soundtrack was never released. Now, let's get into the video. I'll start with the earliest lost idea, and perhaps the most well known, a Season 5 episode titled Nightmares Recycled. If you didn't know, Season 5 is actually only 12 episodes long, although it was intended to be 13 episodes of course. The 6th episode of the season was supposed to be Nightmares Recycled, but it was cancelled shortly after animation had begun. The episode was deemed much too dark for a show on 4 kids, although that was a common trend for Seasons 4 and 5 of the series. A full script of the episode was finished, so let's find out what made this episode so disturbing. But before I do, I want to let you know that most of the information that is in this video was actually found directly from Peter Laird's blog. A short time after the 2003 series ended, Laird started posting all of his script and email conversations that he had with the writers of the show. The website is the holy grail of behind the scenes information for the 2003 series. So, this episode was intended to give more depth to the characters Hun and the Garbage Man. Both of them were going to be revealed as conjoined twins at birth that were surgically removed from one another. To add to this strange situation, the operation was done by a back alley surgeon and the Garbage Man was actually thrown away as garbage. Raphael, Donnie, Casey, and April were all going on an evening salvage operation for materials at the junkyard and wound up in the Garbage Man's recycle world. Hun arrives on the scene, revealing his estranged relationship with the Garbage Man. The team of the Turtles, Casey, April, and Hun end up defeating the Garbage Man to end this crazy story. The episode was pretty much just going to be a filler, not really relating to the main story, but I still am disappointed that this one was cancelled in production. Any episode with backstory for Hun is worth it. The episode was possibly intended for some sort of release, as this 4Kids rep told the popular Ninja Turtle forum, the Technodrome, multiple times in the year 2008. A first pass of the animation was actually apparently completed, but nothing has surfaced. Next up, the episodes that were planned to make up Fast Forward Season 2. Yup, as if one season of Fast Forward wasn't enough. Nah, Fast Forward wasn't half bad, although some of these episodes sound much more enjoyable than what we got. Again, for the record, Fast Forward wasn't god-awful. I just wasn't a fan of the new characters and stories that came from it. The animation change wasn't that great either. The 10 episode titles associated with Fast Forward Season 2 were Master Fighter 2105, Something Wicked, Bounty Hunting, Turtles, Turtles Everywhere, Law and Disorder, The Devil and Baxter Stockman, The Incredible Shrinking Serling, Space Usagi, aka A Question of Honor, City Under Siege, aka Con Space, and Homeward Bound. Wow, what an interesting list of episode ideas. Note that some of these ideas were just pitches from the story writers, but it is still awesome to think that they were so close to happening. First off, the episode titles Something Wicked, City Under Siege, and The Incredible Shrinking Serling did in fact appear in the following season of Fast Forward, Back to the Sewers. The episode City Under Siege, known to be Con Space at the time, was a completely different story from what happened on Back to the Sewers. Here was the original summary for the Fast Forward Season 2 version. Notice Peter Laird's initial comments in bold. As Triple Threat is being deported from Earth via a prisoner transport shuttle, he hijacks the ship and rallies all of the convicted alien thugs on board to join him on a crime spree the likes of which New York City has never seen. President Bishop is desperate to keep order in the city, but is he desperate enough to team up with the Turtle Titan for help? The episode Something Wicked was certainly written to be something wicked awesome, a Triceraton Shredder. Yup, that's right, a Triceraton Shredder. 4 kids from the Technodrome, someone who I'll reference quite a lot in this video, confirmed that Shredder would have wrapped around the Triceraton's face like a face hugger. A Triceraton deep space freighter detects life signs coming from a lone asteroid. As per United Federation of Planets regulations, they investigate, only to find the Utrom Shredder. The Utrom Shredder takes over the Triceraton ship, enslaves the Triceraton crew, and creates for himself a new organic, cyborg Triceraton body. A Trishredaton, if you will. This new Shredder then plots a course for the Milky Way galaxy, and New Manhattan in particular, to get his revenge on the Turtles. However, our heroes receive word from the Shredder's resurrection from some old Utrom allies, including Captain Mortu and their long-lost comrade, Leatherhead. How epic would that have been? This Shredder would have been a main villain throughout the season, most likely leading to a massive Shredder war that sadly never got to happen, but we'll get into that later. Also, seeing Leatherhead and Mortu again would have been amazing. There was even an episode idea that would have revolved around Mortu. And then there's the incredible shrinking Serling. This episode pitch was pretty similar to the episode of the same title in Back to the Sewers. Here's the original summary. Realizing that getting back to their own time has become imperative, the Turtles and Cody begin a series of time window experiments, using Serling as a guinea pig. The first test causes Serling to explode. The next test shrinks him into an action figure size. Next, tiny Serling gets sent into the past, but targeting this precise point in time is more difficult than you'd think, and for a moment, Serling winds up in some prehistoric age. Just as he's about to get eaten by a T-Rex, he is pulled again forth in time, and materializes in the Turtles' lair. But, to Serling's surprise, he learns that A, his systems are not functioning very well, and B, he's at a point in time where the Turtles are still kids, aka the Turtle Tots. It's Serling's worst nightmare as the Turtle Tots tap him as their favorite new toy, and he must clandestinely work to save the mischievous foursome as they get into all sorts of trouble. Now, the fast forward season 2 episodes that never surfaced in any way, shape, or form. Well, besides this first one, Master Fighter 2105, this episode actually had a finished animatic with voices and sound effects. The animatic was released on the 4Kids website as an unlockable in the year 2009. Here's a preview.
Software all day. Wait! You're gonna miss the best part! Master Fighter's signature move! The Furious Fist of Fatality! Yeah! It's Serling! Something's wrong! Are you okay, Serling? Serling?
I will link to that animatic in the description down below. Viral brings the character of Master Fighter, the ultimate martial master from the Turtles' favorite High Chop Saki martial arts film, to life. This virtual Master Fighter plays out the storyline of the film he was created from, believing the Turtles, Cody, and Serling to be his mortal enemies. Master Fighter makes short work of them, but that's when Master Splinter shows up. Master versus Master. Bounty hunting was set to be a Zix episode. Here's the summary. When Boss Zucko collects the bounty on Torben Zix by handing him over to an unscrupulous criminal kingpin, the Turtles get suckered into mounting a rescue mission. But Zucko keeps capturing Zix again and again, turning Zix over to different gangs of thugs, aliens, and crime syndicates, and the Turtles keep having to spring Zix. Eventually, our heroes discover that they've been had. Zix and Zucko have been working together since the very beginning, collecting and splitting millions of credits from all of the bounties on Zix's head. Now, they've got to teach Zix and Zucko a hopefully painful lesson. Turtles, Turtles Everywhere was another episode with the Dark Turtles. Tired of the constant failures of the Dark Turtles he created, Darius Dunn decides it's time to build a better mousetrap, or gang of henchmen if you will, turning his technological know-how to the task. Dunn creates the Tech Turtles, and what better way to give them a test run than sending them on the now obsolete Dark Turtles. Reeling from the high-tech onslaught of the Tech Turtles and desperate to survive, the Dark Turtles have no choice but to turn to their enemies, the Turtles, for help. In the heat of the battle, the Ninja Turtles teach the Dark Turtles what honor and sacrifice is truly about. After this battle, things will never be the same. Law and Disorder would have been awesome, simply because it would have probably been a Bishop episode, or should I say, President Bishop. When Jammerhead reprograms Constable Biggles to take down the Turtles, our heroes find themselves under attack by the entire police force, and the Turtles thought that Biggles couldn't get any more annoying. Now, the Green Team Supreme must battle both cops and robbers, get to Jammerhead, and get Biggles back to his normal, obnoxious self. The Devil and Dr. Stockman would have been one of the best episodes of the season. A few animatic photos are somewhere floating around the internet, including some awesome sketches of what would have been Tri-Shredaton. Here's the summary. Recently installed into a new body, courtesy of President Bishop, a chipper Stockman finds himself anxious to begin a new life as one of the good guys. Stockman invites himself along to an intergalactic science expo with his new best friends forever, the Turtles. But when the Shredder attacks their ship and they all find themselves stranded on a hostile planet with the Shredder hunting them, will Stockman be tempted by the Shredder to go back to his evil ways, or will he stay the good guy course and help the Turtles survive? I'm sure you all would have killed to have this episode be produced. A Question of Honor, aka Space Usagi. This episode was rumored to be a two-parter too. Apparently, it might not have been the same Usagi we've seen previously in the 2003 series, but rather an Usagi from a different dimension. A couple of scripts are available on Laird's blog, but no official summary for the episode was ever typed up. Basically, the Turtles would have ended up meeting with Space Usagi and eventually defeating the Shredder in his Triceraton form. It would have been epic. Lastly, Homeward Bound, which was set to be a two-part season finale to the second Fast Forward season. This episode would have had it all, and would have capped off a redemptive second season for Fast Forward. Here's the summary. When Cody mysteriously fluxes out of existence, the Turtles doubled their efforts on the time window, if only so they can rescue him. But with the Utrom Shredder, Mech Turtles, and Darius all closing in fast, it will take a little help from our friends. Thankfully, Usagi, Leatherhead, and the Utroms arrive to aid our heroes. But despite Don's best efforts, he can't seem to break through to the point in time he and his brothers came from. Meanwhile, it becomes clear that the bad guys are targeting the time window too. The good and the bad guys are closing in, but that's when the Dark Turtles enter the fray and buy Don some much needed thinking time. Don fires up the time window with search parameters to find Cody, and it finally does locate him. Don sees Cody in some subterranean location, tinkering with some kind of high-tech machine, watching various images of the future Turtles. With the help of their allies, the villains are defeated, and the Turtles, Splinter, and Serling jump through the time window to rescue Cody, only to find that they have materialized safe and sound back in their lair in the year 2007. Cody has built a crude time beacon here in the Turtles' home time, enabling the time window in Cody's time to finally bridge the gap accurately and safely, where they can all live happily ever after, until Season 8. Another idea that I found on Laird's blog was to include Cyber Shredder hijacking Nano's body. That would have been awesome to see Nano one last time, and of course Cyber Shredder taking over his body would have been sick. Another nugget that I found on Laird's blog was an alternative ending to what turned out to be the series finale, Wedding Bells and Bytes. Here's the script. But before the I-do's are done, an uninvited guest crashes the party, the Shredder, digitally morphing from out of Splinter's body. Just before getting destroyed by Turtle Titan and the Tortoise Boy, the Shredder managed to zap himself back to cyberspace and download himself into the last remaining cluster of Splinter's data bits, infecting them like a virus attacks a host body. Then, when Splinter was uploaded back into the real world, the Cyber Shredder went along for the ride and prevented Splinter from becoming completely organic again so that he could take him over like he did Viral. And it gets worse. Having infected Splinter's essence, the Shredder now has access to all of Splinter's fighting ability and all of Splinter's knowledge of his son's strengths and weaknesses. Shredder knows every move they're liable to make even before they do. All seems lost, until Master Splinter, His digital code, supposedly subsumed within Shredder's digital matrix, starts to reassert himself from deep within the Shredder, fighting to save his sons. From the inside out, the battlefield has been leveled. What would have been Season 8, Back to the Sewer Season 2, was also something the writers were thinking about before the series ended. The plan was for the Shredder Wars to be the main plot of the season. Utrom, Demon, and Cyber Shredder would be fighting it to the death, with the Turtles involved of course. This season also would have explained what Karai has been doing, a better backstory on where Khan came from, and how Serling would have gotten home. This season would have been great, although having all three Shredders come back to life would have been very weird. Perhaps it would have been in an alternate dimension. Saving Shirel's return for Turtles Forever was a much better choice in my opinion. Finally, there was one last season that was very close to happening. It would have followed the first Fast Forward season, then it would have been called TMNT Overload. The Turtles would have somehow been sent back in time, being involved in adventures with their younger selves, the Turtle Tots. After leaving the past, the Turtles would have accidentally hopped dimensions into a world with the Super Turtles, Superhero Ninja Turtles. Designs were developed for this season, but that's about it. I do love the Turtle Tots from the 2003 series, so I actually would have loved to see this season happen. Though I'm sure pretty much a lot of people would have given up on this show if it happened, saying that this series had officially jumped the shark. Well everyone, I hope that you learned a few new things in this video. It took me a while to find all this information, so give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. If you made it this far into the video, you're a true fan of mine, and I really appreciate your support. Maybe I'll post a video of all of the Back to the Sewer concept art sometime soon. Comment if that's something you'd like to see. Thank you so much for watching, check out my Patreon and Instagram pages, and peace out everybody.